Hey, I'm Jess Pratt, former Zwift Academy winner, and welcome to the World of Zwift.
Hello and welcome to the World of Zwift. If you're looking for tips, for tricks, interviews and reviews, then you are in the right place. Let's see what we've got coming up in this week's show. First up, it's a sweat warning as I get involved in the Crit Crushers action. Shayne Gaffney gives us the lowdown on the latest workout of the week. Wes Salmon answers my burning questions over on Inside Line. I eat my greens in the Feedzone. We've got all the highlights from week 6 of the ZRL. Zwift community live commentator Anna Russell finds out the secret to Team Agowatt E-sports success. And Canyon SRAM rider Ella Harris gives us a recon of ZRL week 7's course, the Magnificent 8. But first, please like, subscribe and leave us a comment to let us know what you've been up to this week. Oh, good God. Oh, no, Big OJ, no!
Subscribe or he gets squished.
Do what he says! Do what he says! I don't want to be stepped on! Too beautiful to die. Now let's see what's going on in the rest of the Zwift world this week. On the 20th of May, ex-prisoner turned endurance athlete John McAvoy will be leading a group ride on Zwift alongside Team Breakaway, the world's first e-cycling team for prisoners. Stay tuned because John will be here later on to tell us more. Ooh, massive news, we got a second camera. Hello. Stay tuned to find out how we use that later on. And finally, last week was week 2 of Crit Crushers, and I wanted to get a part of the action, so let's take a look at what went down in my pain cave. A very sweaty pain cave. Alrighty then, Crit Crushers, week 2. First race is, what is it? It's the Guardian Loop. 3 laps of, and then 1 lap of Innsbruck Ring. And these races are great if you've never done a race before. They're short, they're fast, they're intense, they're great fun. Personally, I love racing them. Minute 57 to go. If you don't mind, I'm going to put some hardcore house music on. Oh my God, 230 people looked in. Oh. Here we are. Lungs are burning, but I managed to get in this front group. This is a serious front group. I'm in it. I'm still 100th on the road. Whew. Kilometers to go. Just 1,000 meters. 200 meters. Ah. 11 minutes to the next one. Get out of that race as quickly as possible and get yourself on the start line of the next race because you'll be further towards the front. Everyone's got tired legs. Those positions are super important now. Might try and eat this banana. You don't need to see this. There's 181 people logged back in for race 2, 3 minutes to go. It's the Innsbruck Ring this time. And this is where you'll either rip your legs off or you'll really rip your legs off. Giant Crit Crushers, week 2, race 2, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I can really feel that. Sorry for the lack of talking. I can hardly even think. Under 2k to go. Have a lane for this sprint. There's the finish. Ah! Ah! Last week I awarded the coveted Headband Hero title to Zwift commentator and international hair icon Matt Stevens. This week, well, I've been scouring the ZRL rider cams and can announce that the winner is Gavin Dempster, and here he is. Look at that headband. I'm Slightly sad that he's tied down those locks with it, but a branded Saris from the Pros closet, headband to go with his branded base layer, and lovely biceps. And I feel, looking at him right now, he's cycling straight into my soul, which I'm not averse to. Right then, make sure you tag us in your pictures if you think your headband is more heroic than Gavin's. Now, if you're here for the gains, you're in luck because expert coach Shayne Gaffney is here to talk us through what we can expect from the latest in his targeted workout series. It's time for Workout of the Week, and this week's workout is called Expand, like my mind.
The workout this week is called Expand. After a warm-up, we head into a Zone 6 focused workout with a twist. The surges at Zone 6 become progressively longer as the workout elapses. We'll start off at 15 seconds for the first rep and end at 1 minute and 15 seconds for the fifth one. Ouch. This workout is targeting your ability to surge again and again while holding the surge efforts for longer and longer. Perfect for finishing a Zwift race strong or hanging on for dear life to the back of OJ's wheel.
Next up, it's time for me to abuse my position here as the host of the World of Zwift as I get to speak to Wes Salmon, the lead game designer here at Zwift, to ask him some questions. Wes, thank you so much for coming back on.
Thanks for having me, OJ.
Should we talk power-ups, Wes? Are you ready to talk power-ups?
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about randoms. Why are power-ups randomized in-game?
So with Zwift racing specifically, there's a lot of aspects of outdoor racing that we don't simulate. So you don't get flat tires. You don't have issues where the group is broken apart because of someone dropped a bottle. So that means that a lot of times our races come down to pure power. And the reason power-ups are randomized, specifically in races, is to allow for some dynamic aspects of the environment to be leveraged as decision points and strategy points for riders. So you'll see this oftentimes where people will get a power up that they don't necessarily like for that segment of road, and they'll have to decide, do they dump it or do they use it in a way that makes sense just so they can get a chance for the next power up dice roll at the next arch. So the randomization is really meant to allow for dynamic gameplay versus very formulaic, power-driven only race results. And it's something that we tweak frequently in regards to the events. So we do have event power-ups, specifically race-only power-ups, to improve that dynamic range of different options that you can have presented to you to use to your advantage or unfortunately against you by other players. And hopefully it keeps the racing a little bit more strategically focused versus just a pure smash fest of power.
Now, a little bit like myself, some power-ups are misunderstood, Wes. Which one do you think is the most misunderstood?
I think the box truck, the drafting truck, is one of the ones that new users specifically don't quite grasp fully. We've seen people use it in a way that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like if you're in the front of a pack and you drop the draft truck, you're not getting any benefit because instead of the draft truck behaving like you're a large truck moving through the world and you're going to get that benefit of a draft as a truck, instead it's only going to multiply whatever draft you're getting from whoever or whatever group is in front of you. So you're effectively drafting as if you were behind a large box truck. And if you don't use that when you're behind someone that's giving you a draft or a group that's giving you a draft, you've kind of wasted that power up.
You do sometimes see it, don't you? You're in a race and somebody will go off the front, they'll drop the truck power up and you're thinking, why are you doing that?
That could also be strategy by people around them seeing the box truck be popped and they back off. They're like, hey, this person wants draft help because they want a multiplier. Let's not give it to them and force them to the front by soft pedaling.
Oh, again, it's Zwiftcraft. And also, it's always quite nice sometimes just to annoy the people you're racing around. As soon as you see them drop it, stop pedaling, soft pedal at that moment. Now, new bike day is exciting IRL. It's exciting in Zwift as well. But imagine you want a new bike and you don't have enough drops, Wes. What is the best way to really rack up those drops?
Currently, the best way is to ride with our pace partners, but there's other ways to get additional drops as well that people may not notice because it's somewhat subtle in the UI. For instance, going up a climb, a reasonable climb, not a 1%, will give you a bonus multiplier of your drops. And you'll see that next to your drops total in the display where you'll see a little mountain flashing, letting you know that you're getting a bonus for climbing. The same is true as if you get a ride-on from another user. So giving ride-ons lets other people around you get more drops, but also when you receive ride-ons for a short time thereafter, you'll get a drop multiplier for the effort you put in during that time. The other thing to do is think about when you want to level to something that's divisible by 5 or 10. At the 5 levels, like 15, 25, 35, you'll get 25,000 extra drops. And at the 10 levels, 20, 30, 40, you'll get 100,000 extra drops. So if you're on the cusp of buying that bike that you need drops for, but you also are considering a wheel set, you can look at whether or not you're going to get a big bonus at a certain level and plan accordingly. So if you're at level 29 and you're only 40,000 away from that bike, but you also want a wheel set, you'll know that you'll have 100,000 drops coming when you hit level 30.
I did not know that, Wes. Fascinating stuff. And if we've earned all these new drops and we fancy a new bike, what is it? What is your favorite? What would you choose?
So I'm partial to Cannondale bikes. I got one here behind me. It's the bike I've had for 6 or 7 years now. It's a Cannondale Synapse that I have, but the biking game that I go to when I'm not riding the concept bike is the Cannondale Super 6 Evo. It's one of the better all-round bikes in general from a climbing perspective as well as an aerodynamics perspective. So it's a really great bike.
With what wheel set?
I typically run either the Zip 404s or the new 353s.
Oh, do you like the 808s? I just think the 808s look mean. They're so deep.
They're mean for sure. The only time I run an 808 is if I'm going to put a disc wheel in the back.
Oh, we've got very in-depth there. Very in-depth. Wes, as always, that was absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for your time, Wes.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Feedzone time, and today my fabulous producer has given me this tiny little matcha Kit Kat, which is of course because of... Oh, okay, I have spoken too soon there. So how does it taste? Look at it in its little tiny packet, this matcha green tea Kit Kat. If I open it up, we can see 2 tiny little sticks of Kit Kat. Look how cute they are. They're so cute. But how do they taste? If we were on the bike, let's have a little nibble. Okay. Now, for me, matcha green tea normally tastes like I've licked a plant outside. And not a particularly nice plant either, but that is lovely, very sweet, like white chocolate. My only issue with it being an on-ride snack is I could nail an entire bag of those within about 45 seconds. Not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying it's an observation. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to nail the rest of the bag. Make sure you stay tuned because coming up we've got all the highlights from ZRL Week 6. Now, at 24 years old, John McAvoy was handed a life sentence for armed robbery. Confined to his cell, he discovered an immense talent for endurance, which saw him break 3 indoor rowing world records from prison. After an early release, he's now one of the few Ironman triathletes to be sponsored by Nike and uses that experience to inspire positive change. He's going to be leading a group ride on Zwift on the 20th of May alongside the world's first e-cycling team for prisoners, and he's here today to tell us a little bit more. John, it is great to chat to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me on.
Mate, well,
I've been looking forward to this.
Well, good. Well, tell me then, let's talk about your background. You're given this life sentence. At what point did you turn to sport? When did sport become something that you wanted to put into your life?
It was only after the death of my friend in 2009, when I was in a lower security prison, that I had this sort of moment of clarity of how much I was wasting my life. And I had to find a way of being able to sort of get me out of that environment. And obviously I couldn't just walk out the door because I was trapped. I was in prison. And just because I knew in my heart I would never commit a crime again, that didn't mean they was just going to let me out the door. And I got on this SRAM machine and I just started pulling that handle towards me. And when I was doing that and going through that process, it transcended me out of prison. I remember just looking at the numbers on that monitor, and it literally just removed me from that place. Prisoners didn't talk to me. Prison officers left me alone. And I did 1 million meters in the first month. And I knew from that moment that I would use my body as a vehicle to get me out of that life. And my dream then was to become an athlete. And I went down to the library and I started reading books on sports nutrition, on training, the heart rate zones. I started getting interested in cycling. I started watching the Tour de France when it was on the TV, the prison TV. I read Lance Armstrong's books. And then when I was reading these books of all these athletes that I'd never been exposed to as a kid, however, I realized I had the same sort of characteristics. Like I was driven, I was focused, I wanted to do something in my life, I wanted to win.
Well, let's talk about the fact that you get early release. You become one of the few Nike-sponsored triathletes and Ironman. What was it that you think that Nike saw in you and your story and your want to be the best?
I think like it was the work that I was doing in the community. It was the stuff I was doing around prison reform. And it was like literally, without sport, I would have ended up dead. And I genuinely would have done. I would have died physically. I would have died by default by just wasting my whole life and never reaching my potential of just rotting in a prison cell in a cage. But sport profoundly changed my life. And that's why I feel that obligation to hand that baton on and help other people and lift other people and give other people that opportunity to participate in sport.
So when you're using Zwift in your training, which you do you find that people see your name and think, right, I'm going to ride alongside him, see if I can beat him up some of these climbs, knowing how good you are, knowing the level you're at now?
No, I've never really had that. It's always I a lot of support. Like last year, I did Land's End to John O'Groats in the first lockdown in the UK, and I was raising money for the Trestle Trust food banks, and we ended up raising £10,000, which was incredible. Like I rode from Land's End to John O'Groats on Zwift. And I was riding like 100. What ended up happening, I'll be honest with you, I just went to smash it out. I thought I'm going to go and ride 250K a day and just do it. But what happened, because I was doing it online, I started realising, I said to my mate, people are sponsoring me more money as I'm doing it. So my mate, you're just going to have to slow down. It was amazing, like the support and the community. And especially like during that lockdown, like being able to obviously ride my bike, because we weren't able to go out and do those big bike rides and stuff. So it was an amazing tool that I started using at that point.
Now, John, on the 20th of May, you are leading a ride on Zwift with the Breakaway Project in Belgium. Now, this is a project where the sports brand Decathlon are supporting the world's first e-sports cycling team made up entirely of prison inmates. Tell me a bit about this.
When I heard about this initiative, about this breakaway in Belgium, these first e-cycling team, I was just like, I need to ride with these guys. I need to have that connection with them at that moment where I'm on the outside and I've actually used sport and I want them to ride with me whilst I'm in the mountains to show them what's possible. And yeah, it was just something I know how powerful it can be. And I did a video the other day and to send to them to say that like, I'm going to ride with you and I want you to use this moment like to understand what you can do when you get out of prison and I just want people to come together and just show them that people outside care about them and they want them to change and they want them to have a better life. And we all understand, hopefully, that are going to be on that ride, that we understand how powerful cycling is and how powerful sport is. And we can just come together for that 1 hour and just unite as one and just ride alongside each other. And they go back to their cells at night. And that could just be the thing where they go back to their cells and go, that's what I want my life to be like when I get out.
John, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the 20th.
See you on the 20th. Take care.
Now, it was a tense race week 6 over at the ZRL. Let's take a look at the women's highlights first.
Race 6, the iconic Champs-Élysées. You're going to be dealing with a 5% grade, 6 different sprints out there.
Look at the gap she has here. That was a clear intermediate sprint win there.
Louise Hubach, the Danish Express. Movistar E-team picking up 35 points after 2 sprints. All 5 Canyon riders are in this front group. Barbara Frisch coming through now. Wow! This gap has gone up to a minute now.
Barbara Frisch just coming through and nipping her teammate.
This is a huge day for the Movistar team.
Becky Story on the front for Movistar.
Barbara Frisch moving up to the front. Shayna Paulus is also right there. Beth McIver gets it done for Movistar, but Tammy Miller really represented for Cryo RDT today.
A maiden win in their maiden season in the ZRL, so great work by Movistar there. Now though, let's take a look at how the men got on.
Season 3's Race 6. Beautiful Paris, France, and the iconic Champs-Élysées. We've got an attack already, Jaden Yeager here. And it's going to be Tom Thrall, Shell Power coming across the line. We are starting to launch again. You get the feeling that these guys are hungry for points. Brian Duffy Jr. on the next team. Van Elst is just going to get it. Gumbel and Bird rolling away now. They've got 6 seconds.
Almost
Rasan.
6 seconds.
We've got 63 riders in the front group. Coming over the top is Anders Foldiger. He's going to try to bring this down to 300 meters, and he's got a nice little gap. Can Foldiger hold on? That one was so close. Brian Duffy Jr. for 50 points. Freddie Ovitt gets second with 40. Mateus de Roos for third. Thomas Thrall, he went from the back of the group to fourth place there.
What a finish by everyone. The top 5 was absolutely smashing it today, so well done.
Congratulations to BZR Sports Solid for that win, the first promoted team in ZRL history to do so. And also, can we say one of the standout performances is the Birdman, Bruce Bird of Team Draft, who was doing it for us bigger riders. He's 95 kilograms. I'm somewhere maybe a little north of that, but he was doing it for us off the front on the downhills. I am now all about the Birdman. I love you, Birdman. The all-female Team Agowatt E-sports have been making huge noises on the ZRL scene. Zwift community live commentator and my favourite Kiwi on the planet, Anna Russell, is here with their founder to hear about the secret of their success. Anna, it's over to you.
Thanks for that, OJ. And I'm here with Laura Perry from Agowatt Cycling. And Laura, you've been racing in the Zwift Racing League for a couple of seasons now. You race in the Americas East Division. Where did Agowatt come from? I mean, you guys have been tearing it up, and you got a lot of riders now in a few divisions. Give us a bit of your origin story.
Yeah, well, Agowatt actually started as an in-real-life team here in Ottawa, Canada. I was founded it with 2 girls, Emily Roy, who's a former Canadian cyclist. She was a pro cyclist, and Julie Audet. And I was previously on another team on Zwift and decided that we would take that onto the online platform. So I started the team myself, and it just kept growing, and we got girls from the United States, we got girls from Canada, and it's actually become quite a huge team now.
So looking at women's cycling on Zwift, I mean, you're female, you're running a women's team, you're the founder of it. You know, what are you seeing from the racing league that is really helping women get into the sport?
For me, it's giving the women the opportunity to train as they like and to race as they like. It really is about inclusivity and having everyone able to race, whether you're an A, B, C, or D category. Everyone can do it. You don't have to worry about, being outside. You can do it from your home. You can do it with your kid hanging off of you, though not preferable. It's just, it's the accessibility. Like Zwift Racing League has opened this up to women and given us equal opportunity to men, which is just unheard of in the sports. Even coming from a running background, we never got the same attention as men. So seeing this and seeing the opportunity that it's given to women to be raised on the same platform, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's so fantastic. I totally agree. Coming from a women's team myself, coming from a triathlon background, which does have good equality in sport, but yeah, the e-sport is just next level. I think it's been and doing fantastic things for women in cycling. So back to Agowatt, I mean, what are your guys' ambitions for the race league? Are you wanting to get in the Prem division, or are you just wanting to grow the community? I mean, what are you sort of aiming for this year?
Agowatt is really about the community league. It's not aiming for premier. The reason why it broke apart from the previous team is because they were very focused on getting to Prim League, and that just wasn't my focus, and it wasn't the focus of a lot of girls. You know, we have full-time jobs, we're mothers, we're businesswomen. We can't commit to those times, and really we want to be more about the community and growing, you know, the women that are, you know, in the other categories, not just focusing on the Prim division. As cool as that would be, and I'm sure that there's girls that will eventually want to do that, that's just not our focus right now. It's more being connected in these difficult times with COVID and really building a community and a family for us.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I mean, what would be your advice to maybe someone who's watching going, oh, I'm a bit nervous about racing. It all looks a bit intimidating. I don't really like racing in real life, so I'm not sure if I'll like this. What's your advice? Because obviously you're a very welcoming team.
Honestly, you just have to give it a try, and you'll see that it's not about winning. It really isn't. It's not even about, you know, being in the top 10. It's about getting out there and meeting women from all over the world and having it like Tuesday nights like a party night. It's we all come out, we have a blast, we joke around, you become friends with these people, and it's the greatest night of the week. It's not about the race, it's about the community and the vibe that you get there. The racing is like, yeah, you're going to get nervous, but that's normal. But the more you do it, the better you're going to feel. And once you start, you're going to be hooked.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, why wouldn't you get into it, right? And a little question for you. What's your favorite race course you've done so far? What have you really enjoyed?
Oh my gosh. Probably Harrogate. I always say that wrong, and all my British friends are like, that's not how you say it. Harrogate is my favorite. I love punchy climbs. Absolutely love them. I find them so much fun. And that course, it was actually Riot that took it out like really like hot last season, and they went on fire up the first hill. And I just remember the fact that like we were able to go with them. We were like, this is awesome. It was like the team kind of had a breakthrough in that race, and for me, seeing some of the girls that were relatively new to racing really break through, like Ashley McIntosh, she had an absolute breakthrough in that race. And so to see that for me, I think made it the best race, because it was the team that kind of, we made it to the next level, and we all kind of came together and we worked together.
Oh, awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about as well, right? Great teamwork. And yeah, I quite like that course myself. It's probably got to be one of my faves. Maybe that's a runner. Maybe that's the runners in us, like that sort of race of attrition.
I think so.
Well, I hope your team does great in the rest of the series. Good luck for the racing coming up. And no doubt you guys will be having a huge blast and a lot of fun throughout the remainder of the series.
Thank you, Anna. Now, this week's ZRL race is a team time trial on the Magnificent 8 course, and Zwift Academy 2019 winner and Canyon SRAM rider Ella Harris is here to show us how to do it best.
So here we are on the Magnificent 8 course. It's a 28-kilometre, reasonably flat loop in Watopia, and we're getting underway. We're just coming out of downtown Watopia towards the volcano circuit. It's flat and fast. I think it's important to have a team plan as to what pace you're going to set out at. You want to be able to make sure you get into a rhythm with your teammates so that nobody's left behind at the beginning. Pretty hot and spicy section of the race now. We're in the middle of the volcano. But hopefully in your team time trial, you're not in the red too much at this point, because we're only about 2K in. This is the hilly KOM. You'll notice that we go over a slight rise over the bridge, and then it's a small reprieve, and then we're into the climb. I think it's pretty crucial for a team to have Discord or some kind of communication going so that you can let your other teammates know how you're feeling. And if you're one of those riders that does struggle with the gradients, don't be afraid to speak up, because if you get dropped on Zwift, the gaps open up very quickly and it'll be hard to get back to your team. Magnificent 8 course is very flat except for this hilly KOM. So it's definitely one of the most critical points in the race. It's a 2.4 kilometre climb at 2%. It's really a make or break section. I, for one, love to have music going when I'm Zwifting. I just find it really gets me in the zone. On Discord, you can actually have your music playing and Discord going at exactly the same time. You need something to try and drown out the pain, so music's good. We're starting the gradual, but still not insignificant climb out of Furgo Flats with 6.2 kilometres to go. You really don't want your team to split up here. If you're one of the stronger climbers in the group, just hold back a little bit. Really look out for the riders who might not be so strong when the gradients go up. It's quite a picturesque part of the course. Kudos to the Zwift visual designers. So we have a final 3 to 4% rise before we make the last right-hand turn, and we're back on the Watopian downtown waterfront. We're under 200 meters to go now. Use that as motivation. Get out of your saddle if you can. And boom, we're done. And that is the Magnificent 8 Team Time Trial course. Whew. Fast, flat, but pretty hard.
And so endeth another World of Zwift. It's been an absolute blast. Tune into next week's show where I'll be undertaking a gravel training program which is going to be intense. Please also don't forget to leave us a comment and tag us in your pics to show us what you've been up to, especially if you're a headband hero. In the meantime, ride on.